Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Bethany, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my favorite foods of all time, which is lasagna. This is going to be a classic meat lasagna. We're going to be using my Italian meat sauce, which is a really robustly flavored sauce in this lasagna. I'm going to be sharing a few tips and tricks on how to make the lasagna even better, and it's just so good. So let's get right into it. Okay, so once you have your sauce done and your pasta water going, you can work on the ricotta filling. And I just wanted to mention that I'm not going to be demonstrating my full Italian meat sauce because I've already done a separate video of that and it takes 4 hours to cook and I just don't have enough time to do a lasagna and the sauce in one day. So if you want to watch the full demonstration and how to make that sauce, we'll leave a link right here and you can click on that, or in the description we'll make sure to leave a link for that as well. And for the ricotta, it's actually really important that you use a specific type of ricotta to make your lasagna even better. So I really like this brand. I think the way you pronounce it is Belgioso. I'm sure those that can pronounce it will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a ricotta con latte, and this is a super creamy ricotta cheese. Seriously, you don't need to use a bechamel because when you use this, it kind of replaces that and adds the creaminess that you would want ricotta to add. It's also not watery. That's always nice. And we're gonna use 16 ounces of ricotta cheese, or 2 cups. And then to add a really nice bright flavor to the whole ricotta filling, we're gonna be doing 1/4 cup each of fresh basil and fresh parsley. So that's half a cup of herbs. It's gonna add a nice pop of freshness to the whole thing, and it's needed in a lasagna. I think that's a really nice way to lighten things up. So we'll chop this really small. Then we're gonna do 1 egg. The egg is to just really help bind everything together, just loosen up the ricotta. Sometimes it can be a little stiff. Then we're gonna do 2/3 cup of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano, and this is gonna add a really nice salty flavor. You wanna flavor the ricotta because ricotta is very creamy and mild in flavor, so the Parmigiano is going to add a nice salty flavor to that filling. Now we're gonna do 3 garlic cloves. We wanna mince these. I got this new little garlic jar, which is perfect. Garlic jars you just need holes in, and I was just using a regular jar with no lid. So this one I can put a lid on and the garlic can just kind of sit and breathe inside there. All right, then just 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. All right, now we'll stir everything together. All right, now we'll set this aside and get ready to layer the lasagna. Okay, so after draining the pasta, what I always like to do, and my mom always taught me to do, was to put the pasta, to prevent it from sticking, the lasagna noodles that are cooked, we can put them in ice water and just kind of lay them flat. So that's what I always do while I'm prepping other things. Again, this is only necessary if you're still doing steps and you don't want the pasta to sit in the strainer and stick. So we're just gonna lay this out in the water and then it won't stick while we're prepping. So we have everything laid out, ready to layer our lasagna, and we're gonna be baking this in a 9 by 13 baking dish. This is what traditional lasagna baking dishes would be. And I like to use a ceramic or glass because if I use cast iron or stainless steel, it tends to really suck up a lot of moisture and the sauce, and it will result most of the time in a dry lasagna. So I like to use ceramic or glass. And the first step in layering our lasagna, I know it gets a little confusing with the layers, is we're gonna add a little bit, just a little bit of sauce on the bottom. This is gonna help the lasagna not stick to the bottom of the dish. The next step is we're gonna add our lasagna noodles, and because they're in water, I'm just gonna shake off that excess water. Just pat it dry on some paper towels if it's really wet. Next is the ricotta cheese, and we're just gonna spread probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons per lasagna noodle. We don't wanna use too much or too little. One of the things that I really like about this lasagna, and my mom kind of taught me, is to not fill it with ricotta cheese. I don't know if you've had those kind of like freezer lasagnas or like a really bad lasagna that just has an inch thick of ricotta cheese in like every bite. It just doesn't have much flavor and it's overwhelming. So I just think a thin layer throughout is just perfect and all the layers come together in the end. After the ricotta, you'll spread another layer of sauce over top. Next, we're gonna add freshly grated mozzarella cheese. Every lasagna needs some mozzarella. I like to use freshly grated rather than pre-shredded. It has more flavor, more moisture. It's gonna melt really nicely. And I don't really love the anti-caking ingredients. So it's best to just use fresh cheese whenever you're making a dish like this. And again, light layers of everything throughout. And we're using 1 pound of freshly grated mozzarella cheese. Then, for some flavor, because mozzarella is kind of mild in flavor, is freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. We'll do about 1.5 cups. Then after that, we're back to the lasagna. All right, so we're putting the final layers onto our lasagna. I have about 4 layers in this, which is pretty typical in a classic lasagna. And I just wanna say, this sauce is incredible. If you have tried it already, I know so many of you have. It is what makes this lasagna, it makes any dish that it's in. And I think that what takes a lasagna from being good to fantastic is a solid sauce. And I think personally the sauce should have a wine in it. That's why this sauce just brings so much to the lasagna, is that robust flavor from the wine. So regular meat sauce with tomatoes is fine, but fantastic. Add some red wine to it and it'll be chef's kiss. Perfect. And we're going to finish this off with all of our cheese, the remaining of the cheese. So now we're gonna bake this at 375 for 20 minutes covered, then 20 minutes uncovered. So Dad is here to taste the lasagna. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for inviting me. And of course, whenever you invite me, I say yes.
I had you tasting this because you always rave about my lasagna.
I love lasagna, and your lasagna is outstanding.
Oh, thanks. Well, you
so
can
should
try
I
it.
dig
Yep.
in?
This is the meat sauce lasagna.
Okay. I think the last one we had was the vegetable.
Maybe we might have made the vegetable.
Good.
Haven't put that on
they're
YouTube
all
yet.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Very tasty.
And I know you always comment on the wine that you can taste. Do you feel like that makes a difference in the lasagna?
When you say wine and you think about the taste you're getting, it immediately makes sense that that is exactly what you're tasting. And when it's not there, that gentle, nice flavor isn't there.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it isn't good, but
Right.
it doesn't taste like this. This is excellent.
Oh, look at it, I'm glad.
It's very good.
Yes. I forgot to mention that we don't always call lasagna lasagna. What do we call it?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. I totally forgot to mention
When
that.
the kids were, you know, they all said, "Oh, Dad, let's have lasagna tonight." I said, "Okay, it sounds like a good idea." You know?
So Dad's the one that always says lasagna, and then now I feel like whenever I make lasagna, I call it lasagna most of the time. So, well, thanks for coming, Dad. I'm glad that you got to taste this and that you're back.
I'm very happy with the flavor, and anybody that would make this would definitely think that they hit a home run because it's delicious.
Good. I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
All right, you're welcome.
And I'm going to go around,
Yep,
and I'm
you
going to
can-
sit down and eat this.
You can sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, see you, Dad. All right, and that's everything for today. I hope you guys get to try this lasagna. It is truly one of my favorites along with our bolognese lasagna. Like my dad was saying, that red wine just adds such a robust flavor to it. And the ricotta is not overwhelming. It's just layered thinly throughout. It just, again, adds that creaminess by using that ultra creamy ricotta. It's not watery, it's just perfect. And you have those bites of fresh herbs to kind of lighten things up a little bit. So it's delicious. Dad is enjoying it back there if you can hear him. But we love that he loves this, and it's definitely a family favorite in my family. Hope you guys get to try this, and as always, if you do, feel free to let me know in the comments or on our website. And as always, I'll catch you in the next recipe, and I'll see you in the comments.